Are you ready to expand your awareness and experience the wonder nestled within our local community? Welcome to the show, where we reach into the shadows to discover the unsung heroes among us and bring them into the local spotlight.
Welcome to Local Spotlight, where we shine the light on the nooks and crannies of all the things that are in our Northwest Indiana community. And today we have the Duneland Chamber with us. Rachel, Maura, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah. Every time I talk to people that are in the local area, when we started LiveXStudios, they all said, first thing, do you know Maura? You need to join the chamber. Mm-hmm. And I said, yes, I know, I'll get to it. We still have things to get, I'm not ready yet. And then once we were ready, I called you and I said, you know what, I think we can do some really cool stuff. I really think it's awesome that you guys are here today because you guys have a bird's eye view of really so much that's happening in the nooks and crannies of the community as the chamber. I mean, the chambers have had, throughout, when did chambers start? Like that idea?
Yeah.
100 years?
We've been around for over 50.
Yeah.
So it's,
right.
I'm going hundreds.
Yeah. So when you see new businesses come into town, what have you seen is some of the things that make them successful?
I think being able to answer questions and really doing their research before they start a business. So like you said, everyone's like, oh, have you talked to Maura? And you're like, I still have things to do. Well, it's really nice when we have businesses come in because we'll tell them like, hey, why don't you get all of this in place? Do you have your business plan? Do you know what your customer is going to look like? Do you know what products you want to specialize in? Do you know who your competitors are or who your potential partners are? Mm-hmm. So you have that conversation and that first brainstorming with a business, which is really exciting to see, what their ideas to start and then really what their finished product is when we come in for a ribbon cutting, to really welcome them to the community. So I really enjoy when they are putting in that pre-planning and then that way we can connect them, which is I think one of the best things that we do at the chamber is making sure that we put you in a good place to succeed.
In what ways do you connect people?
So we partner with different organizations such as SCORE. They're a mentoring, another small business nonprofit through the ISBDC, which is the Indiana Small Business Development Center. So that's something through the state. Most of this is all free resources. So again, when you're starting in business, you're you need all this research, but funds might be tight. So that way you can partner with SCORE, you partner with the ISBDC, and then really depending on what the business is kind of where you go from there, right? What other partners they need to line up. I'm
a certified business mentor with SCORE, and I have a lot of really good things to say about SCORE. So if you don't know about SCORE, SCORE.org, there's tons of free resources even on the website.
I probably do one of their webinars once a week.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they're free ones.
That's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's a pretty fantastic organization, and how can you not get something out of free advice?
Mm-hmm.
The people that it wasn't easy to get in. They really want to make sure that
If they'll assign you a mentor
Yeah.
that also is specific to your business too, that has, kind of tried and true experience as well, and they're gonna walk with you through your questions. I've seen them pull demographic reports, I've seen them pull competitive analysis reports, they'll sit with you, talk about budgets, so just a lot of good foundation things that you need to start your business off correctly.
So one thing to start your business off correctly is have a plan and be very clear about your market, your pricing, your branding, what your plan really is and who you're going after. And you see businesses come in that aren't ready right away.
Well, just, they're okay, this is where I love businesses or business owners. They're so passionate about why they want to start a business. Like they come with this idea, right? Like I'm really good at this, or I really see the need for this, but they might not have all the back business already planned out. Do you know what I mean? Like not everyone's great at HR. Not everyone is great at their bookkeeping. Not everyone is good at all those things that might have nothing to do with running a restaurant or like cooking, right?
Right.
Like they might be fantastic cook, but all of that back end stuff needs to be in place for you to be a successful business owner.
Yeah, I think a lot of people get into a business, they say, oh, I have an amazing product, or I love to cook, or I'm a baker, and then they might not realize that 80% of your work is not going to be baking. And I think that's one of the things that catches people off guard and then can leave them stressed and miserable. So, yeah, I think education is probably the best way to gain confidence over all of that, yeah?
Yeah, confidence and connections, right? So I think it's learning from other business owners. It's, being able to have the confidence to make the phone call and be like, oh, I know so-and-so that, had that same problem, or I know someone that can maybe walk you through that. So, I mean, even we have businesses call us, that need help just to work through certain permitting processes with the town. And so there, people are lost when it comes to something that they don't have the experience in, right? So it's kind of being able to walk them through what that process looks like is super helpful. So we're able to do that because we've seen it enough and we've helped businesses enough do it.
That's awesome. And for stuff that you don't know people that you can connect them with. I mean, I heard that phrase long ago and it stuck with me, but your net worth is determined by your network.
I like that. I've never heard that.
No, I kind of want to, what is it called? Rip off and duplicate. That's a big chamber thing too. We're a tight knit chamber group, right? So like other chambers like work really well together. Like we work well with our partners over in Bopo and in Portage and Michigan City. So it's nice to, if they have something or they've seen something. So it's not just our area either. We can connect you to the bigger scope of things, right? We're part of the Indiana Chamber. We're part of the U.S. Chamber. So we also have additional resources there where you're talking about maybe not even just locally that you need the research on. Maybe it's something farther out.
Yeah, and it's not just the people that you know, but the people that you know that they know.
Right, exactly.
Right,
yes.
Exactly. So what's your role with the chamber?
So I'm the events manager. So I do our community events, our business events, networking.
What drives the heart mission of it for you?
The
And
job in general,
Yeah.
or that event specifically?
No, the job in general.
I like being just in my hometown and meeting a bunch of business people that, I was a kid here, I grew up here, so it's nice to kind of be on the business side of things and make those connections.
What do you get out of that connection? Why would you do it for free?
I think
We're not saying she doesn't want to get paid.
Actually, maybe just that feel good feeling of doing events like that, doing community events. I went through 8th grade reality check when I was in 8th grade.
How cool is that?
Yeah, I grew up going to the European market. I went to these events before I knew I was going to be working at the chamber.
How did you get the job?
She paid me off.
I did.
Yeah. Was it too expensive? Or was it? It's worth it, obviously. She loved it. Yeah.
No, I have a background in doing events and activities in senior living.
Okay.
And was just after COVID was kind of ready to get out of that healthcare side of things and just saw that they posted and I was like, oh.
That's
I
awesome.
applied. And
So did you grow up in Chesterton?
Yeah, I grew up in Chesterton.
And you went to Chesterton High?
Went to Chesterton High School, went to IU Bloomington, ran away to California for a couple years after
Did
I
you follow a
graduated.
boy?
Yes, I did follow a boy.
Yeah.
And that didn't work, so I came back home.
Yeah, you didn't like California?
No, I loved California. I
Oh.
just didn't like the boy.
Right.
Yeah.
And you're like, I'm just going to go home.
Yeah, so I came home and I feel like I just really have a new appreciation for this area.
Yeah.
As like a teenager, no matter where you're at, you're like, I gotta get out of here.
Right.
This small town
Right.
But coming back, I'm like, this place is amazing. I don't want to live anywhere else.
That's awesome. What are some new businesses that have come into town that you're like, oh, this is going to be cool? Can you think of some people that really stand out?
I'm so excited about every new business that comes in. You have the businesses that have been here forever, and not to take away ever from any business, because having even a 5-year anniversary is huge and small.
Huge.
And
Most
small
people don't make
business.
that.
No, they don't.
Right.
So to even have a 5-year anniversary, how proud we are of those guys. 10-year, 50-year. We have some businesses that have been here for so long, and we do love featuring them in our Duneland Today magazine.
Yeah.
So that's always fun for us. But you know, it is fun to like also talk about the new businesses, and that's I think a fun part of our job is that I feel like we are on the forefront of knowing who's coming into town and what makes them tick too, and like what they're excited about, and you know, being able to promote them. I mean, I just swung by Sage downtown.
It's funny because that was the first one I thought of. Was like Sage is so cool.
It smells so amazing when you walk in. So they're just right off of 2nd Street, right around the corner from Holly Jackson Art Studio, and they do, you know, massages and wellness. They do permanent jewelry.
Do you see
lots
a
of
trend?
loose teas.
Do you see a trend? What kinds of, like, because how long have you been on the chamber?
I was gonna see if you had said, do you see trend in wellness?
Yeah.
And I see a lot of trend in
Definitely.
wellness.
Trend in wellness.
Yeah.
What other trends do you see in the Duneland area? Like, what kinds of businesses do you see being attracted to this area or coming up?
I could say that I mean, there's a different focus in every area of your town, right?
Sure.
So like in your downtown, you want to see more of the retail, restaurant, foot traffic driven businesses. And then once you get onto the outskirts, so when you're talking about when you're on 49 and getting out to the toll road, I know that we've talked about, you know, wanting to see more healthcare, like a medical corridor in that area as far as what the town's vision would be. So when you see, you know, you see the Lakeshore Bone and Joint, you have Franciscan Health build, there's a couple other physician, you know, oriented offices in that area. So like, I think building on that, then you have Urschel Labs, which has been amazing for our community to have came over here, and they provide so many opportunities. So then you get to that manufacturing side.
So what do you think about the local spotlight show? The idea.
I'm really
I love
excited
it.
about it.
Tell me why.
I'm excited because I'm just going to jump in here, because when I first started, so I graduated from Ball State, with a degree in advertising, and my first job was working at the Times Media Company, where I fell in love with, you know, going and talking to new small businesses. And the idea was so cool to me because, you know, we work with our high school, and we have high school interns, and it's kind of the same idea where I wouldn't have walked into a lot of these businesses, you know, for just no reason, right? Like it's not in me just to like, I'm just going to check this out today, right? But because it was my job, and I got to like go and meet all these different companies and be like, oh, I know where that is, or I know where you can get that service. Oh yeah, I just checked, you know, there's a new place over here, you know, that you know about. So like, for me, it was like this treasure trove of like finding all of these different businesses. And then because we're a small town, like you can meet all the owners and then talk about what got them started. So like, that's where I think the whole key to your show is the fact that like you hear their story and their passion and why they started, which we were talking earlier about how, you know, people want to buy, they want to support you. They don't necessarily, you know, like the product is great and they'll keep coming back for a good product, right? But at the end of the day, people want to know that they're making an impact on your life too. Like it's that feel good of that. So it's like, I love to hear everyone's story. So I think you're going to hit it out of the park with this.
And there's applications there. If you want to be on the show, if you're a community organization, a business, or music, you can apply there, take your application, and then the next step is booking.
Well, and I always like when we're talking to our chamber members, if they're at an event and we say like, hey, you know, what do you have new that's coming out that you want to get out there to the community? So I think sometimes when there is an anniversary, like for instance, you know, Cheers is a newer restaurant in town. They took over the old Chesterton brewery. Like, it would be cool to get those ladies on here to talk about.
Oh, yeah, they would be fun.
Have you had their food?
Yes.
I mean, their food is really good. I mean, I was like, because I know the owners over there, and I've kind of watched them over their 1 year anniversary is coming up. It's already passed, though. You missed it. But
you could get there for their second year.
You could get there for their second year, so stay tuned. But yeah, I mean, I love the food there.
Yeah, and that whole like little area.
So good.
The mac and cheese is good.
So I love like the old factory building. Like, so when you talk about like
Yeah.
our older buildings that we're seeing new life be put in.
Yeah.
So you have running vines on the corner. Like when I first got here 10 years ago.
I know that building was empty
That
forever.
building was vacant. It was so sad to me, right?
Yeah.
And so like it's cool to see that. It's cool to see the post office has 3 moons in there, and have you
Yeah.
gone in there to see all of her looms and
Uh-huh.
I'm kind of scared, but like you feel like Sleeping Beauty, like you like want to like mess with something, and it's really awesome. Like, and she has a really cool art community that follows her and follows
Mhm.
that specific niche. Lia's on the corner, again, newer ownership of that building. They're open. Their catering is like on point. That's what they do. But we talked them into opening up a restaurant and
Yeah.
having it a few days a week. Like that's a whole
Yeah.
new endeavor for these ladies that, they always focused on catering, but we're like, hey, you're downtown.
Right.
We need this, like do it. So like it'd be cool to see what that journey looks like.
I ended up just stumbling into Pieces by Jayde,
Love her.
right? I go in there, and it was like stepping into a different world. And as I got to know her, I was like, there seems to be this metaphysical undercurrent in Chesterton that I don't see in other towns.
Yeah.
Like there's some kind of feeling of the kinds of businesses that are coming in. Like the Salt Cave is an
Very cool.
amazing experience. Like I tasted the ocean for like 3 days.
When you sat in
my
it?
God. Yeah, I go and I do hypnosis sessions there.
Oh,
very cool.
Yeah, so you can go there and get a relaxing hypnosis session while you're experiencing the Salt Cave.
And then we
which-
also have the float place too. We have
The
float
float-
60
yeah.
too.
Float 60, have you done it?
And Radiant Salons, yep.
Was it scary? Was it weird? What was it like?
I am
Total
like,
sensory deprivation. What's it like?
can you imagine me on total sensory deprivation?
I don't know, probably panic would set in first.
Okay, so they took me through a breathing exercise
Okay.
as well, and so like we did like the box breathing to like get yourself in there. I like, because I'm not a bath person, I'm a shower person. I just don't do baths that often, so it was weird for me just to like, but it was warm, so like it was fine because you're floating on top, right? There's enough salt to keep you floating. So there, because I was like, what if I fall asleep? They're like, it's fine. Like you just relax and do whatever you have to. It's hard for me to settle down, believe it or not. Like, so like, I just kept like, it was like I was trying to swim in like, I mean, it's not much, but like, I couldn't stop like fidgeting. And they're like, that's why you're the type of person
That needs to do this
because you
a
don't
couple
ever
times a week.
shut it
Right.
off. They're
yeah.
like, please keep coming back.
Did you?
And did
So,
you
like,
You're like, I don't know, I can't slow the train down anymore.
Relax, like, enjoy it.
Yeah, you definitely relax. Like my husband absolutely loved it. He's like, it was so, I felt like the calmest I've ever been, and he like,
Yeah.
he's a believer. I enjoyed it, but I just don't want to ever slow myself down.
Is there a connection with chambers and town governments in all of the chambers, or is that unique to this? Because I've noticed there is like, you seem to work together well.
Thank you.
Does that happen in most communities?
I think that's a best practice, right? So like we can't be our best version of ourselves trying to do, like I said, part of our mission is, create responsible economic growth, where people want to live, work, and play here, where people
Right.
want to move here. So how are we supposed to complete our mission and our vision for the area if we're not working with our town and what our town's vision is, and making sure that we're all doing the right things for the people that, make sense. So I think it's best practice for everyone too. Sometimes you see them intersect even more integrated. And sometimes you see them completely separate and on the outs, and obviously that's not what you would want.
What do you guys see for future? I mean, you could talk maybe globally, and you could talk like events. Like, what do you like global things, like changes that you want to see? We'd like to see more of this. We'd like to see this get better, or we'd like to add this. Like, what are some things that you see that the town needs, businesses need, kinds of events that you dream of doing, maybe, or?
I know your brain is just like.
There's 7 questions. Pick one.
Well, I can say like right now we're working on establishing a foundation for the chamber. So we saw a need, really just, and knowing that also is something that's came out of a lot of chambers beforehand, that it just makes sense to have that charitable arm that we can do more with, that falls under, charitable giving, and it gives businesses a different way to give to specific projects, right? So I would love to see our exterior improvement grants come back, so people that are coming into some of the, you know, buildings that need a little love and attention, and again, might not have the additional money to help, you know, and to keep making sure that we have people that are interested in moving into downtown, making sure that the properties look good and, you know,
Right.
all that great stuff. So I'm excited about seeing a foundation being established. Obviously, we all, you know, we've all had to work through the pandemic together. And so that was difficult. So being able to set up a disaster relief fund or be able to do that, whether it's grants for struggling businesses. So for me, it's nice to, like, you know, sometimes you feel handcuffed in what you can do. So to be able to start another entity that's tied and integrated within our own organization, I'm really excited to see what we can do and who we can help even more with that platform. So that's something in our future that we're going to grow into in the next few years, hopefully.
How about events?
Well, I think,
What events do you want to see more of?
well, this year we brought back the Progressive Dinner, which is an event that I think we stopped doing because of COVID.
What's a progressive
Well,
dinner?
it's like 5 or 6 years ago.
Oh, really?
too,
So
I
it's
think.
been longer
A
than
little bit
that.
before that.
Is it just a little bit at a time and it
It's
keeps
a
getting
little
bigger?
bit at each place.
At each
So,
restaurant.
like, you know,
Okay.
we pick 4, 5, 6
You
restaurants.
progressively
We
eat
progressively
dinner.
eat and have
Okay,
a
cool.
drink and maybe play a game at each place. We get usually the big epic limos to take everybody around town or wherever we're going. So we actually brought it back in February. Stayed pretty local. So we're gonna try.
And all the restaurants know you're coming, they make something
Yes,
special?
They do. So we had a Candyland theme. So everyone had kind of fancy candy drinks, and we partnered with Tethans, the candy store in town, who gave us a lot of goodies to pass out.
I haven't been there.
To Tethans?
Need to go.
Yeah.
They have this trail mix that is the best thing I've ever tasted.
So even if you don't eat candy on a regular
Yeah.
basis, man, they make great gifts. Like, I can't tell you how many times I
Oh.
have to say thank you. I feel like to people who help us out too, and who, like, I'm like, oh gosh, I need to call them and lean on them for some support. So it's like,
Yeah.
I kept sending our interns, can I like go get another box of chocolates? I need to say thank you again.
I love going to Chesterton Toys.
Oh yeah.
For
yeah.
that place is fantastic. Like they really created like a whole nother world.
Yeah.
And then across the street from that, the new record store
Very cool.
Oh,
Yeah.
that came in.
We just talked to him about being in the market this year.
Yeah.
And selling records?
Records,
T-shirts
yeah,
and-
depending on weather
Oh.
permitting for him, like, you know, but yeah, like, so we went around and like, it was fun, we like shopped his store and
Yeah.
he was really cool about like what he makes there and it's very cool, it's a very awesome vibe. We're really excited to see Third Fridays
Yeah.
come back, so like, it
What's
happened-
Third Fridays?
Right? See, this is why I was like, I felt like you set us up to talk
I know.
about it.
So Third Fridays is every third Friday during the European market season, so May through October. Downtown businesses are going to stay open until at least 7 p.m. They're going to have something exciting happening. So whether it's art related, art pop-up, jewelry pop-up, restaurants having specials, with the goal of bringing people downtown on a Friday night and keeping them out. 'Cause,
Yeah.
I mean,
And doing like a walk,
And doing a
right?
walk
so you can
and
start at the
bouncing in
art
different
center, right? Or we'll have an
businesses.
information
I
booth,
think I volunteered to run an information booth every time, so you might
So
start
we'll
and
point
see
people in
me.
the right direction.
And that starts when?
May. The third Friday in May.
Third Friday in May.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for watching Local Spotlight. See you at the next episode.
If only there was one site that listed all the concerts, festivals, and every other fun event happening in Northwest Indiana. There is. It is at panoramanow.com. Plan on making memories that last. Local Spotlight has been brought to you by LiveXStudios.com.